recommendation form. As long as you got a D or higher first semester, you'll continue to pre-ACE Math 2 at this moment, but it really, primarily, it's determined by the exam in May. Okay, the Algebra 1 EFC written by the state, getting a 3 or higher in that, you will continue to pre-ACE Math 2. So at this time, as long as you pass, you're going to stay on this path. You want to get a 3 or higher on the exam to continue forward. Did you have a question on this? What if you don't like pass? So it's let's say you get a really high 2. Let's say you're like 1 point away from a 3. And in this class you get A's, B's mostly. You could request to please continue in the pre-ACE Math 2, they might let you, but your parents would have to get involved and things like that. Most likely, if you don't get that 3, you will not continue to geometry. So where would you go? You go to a class, Math for Data and Financial Literacy, and you'll work, some of it will seem quite a bit actually easier than this class. But you also get to talk more about finance and things, and then you will take this exam again in the fall. You'll take it again in the winter. You'll take it again in May. You'll take 3 times that year, try to pass it. Once you pass it, they put you in geometry. If you never pass it, well, we do have a whole slew of sections of geometry full of seniors. That's okay. You have seniors. Yeah, there's seniors in geometry. There's a whole bunch of them. As long as you get into that geometry class senior year and pass it, you're good to graduate. To be honest with you, there are other scores you can get if you're never able to pass the algebra. There's an SAT score that you can get sophomore year that will give you the same amount of credit. Okay. But you will have to take the test 3 times again until you pass it. They'll test you all the way through your graduate. Other questions? It's just like so we took a benchmark exam at the end of first quarter. We took a benchmark exam in December. So the half piece of paper I gave you, that scores an indicator of how you'll do on it. Most people wouldn't call it easy, but it's easy such a relative term. It depends, what your skills are. In math, that's like asking somebody, is it easy to run a mile? Some people run out and they run a mile real easy, and they in fact love it and enjoy it. Some people run out and they never want to run a mile ever in their whole lives. So it's interesting. We don't make people run a mile until they get under 7 minutes. We wouldn't test them 3 times a year at running a mile until they got a certain score. We just make you go try B class, but math is different. We're gonna make you keep trying, whether you want to or not. Yes. What math credits do we need for graduation? To get your high school diploma, you need this algebra and EOC or a concordance score like an SAT score. You need to pass geometry, and then you just need 2 other math classes. And some of those could be easier, some of those could be more advanced. But you need 4 high school credits to get a diploma.
For ACE classes, you need the 7 ACE classes to go off from ACE program, right?
Right.
To ACE program.
Yeah, to get your ACE diploma, you need to pass 7 ACE math classes. So if you continue, you do, let's say you have like a C first semester in this class. Next year you take pre-ACE Math 2, get a C or higher. Junior year, you take pre-ACE Math 3, get a C or higher. Senior year, you take ACE Math 1, and that's the one that can get you college credit. So by senior year, you're taking a college level course.
I thought it was just 7 classes in general.
Yeah, you don't have to take ACE Math to get your ACE pressure on yourself. The ACE math exam is one of the lowest passing rates. It's one of the most difficult ACE classes to pass. So you don't have to take ACE math to get your ACE diploma. Lots of people don't. No, algebra 2 is recommended if you want to get into college. Colleges want algebra 2 on your transcripts, but you don't need algebra 2 to get a high school diploma. ACE math, they teach most of what we teach in algebra 2, and they also teach some statistics, standard deviations, and things like that, and then they start getting into calculus. So if you know right now that you want to go to MTC, Manatee Technical College, and you want to become a diesel mechanic, they make really good money. You want to become a police officer, a firefighter, a musician, a cosmetologist, culinary arts, any of that, you don't ever have to take algebra 2. After geometry, you can take easier math classes and just go to MTC. The trades, plumbing, electrician, construction, they don't require algebra 2. It's colleges that want algebra 2. So if you want to go to college, you need to be ready to take and pass algebra 2. Junior year. Good question. Any other questions? That's the same as algebra 2. So that's honors algebra 2. Yeah. And you know some algebra 2. It's pre-ACE 2. So next year, this is the same as honors geometry. You're in honors algebra 1. Next year it's called honors geometry. If you were at Braden River or Lakewood Ranch, it would be called honors geometry. That means I'm smart. Right. Yeah. It's an honors math class. For your honors classes, when you get a B instead of a 3.0 in your transcript, it's a 3.5. So you're getting a little bit extra in your weighted GPA for this class.
So since you're three ACE classes this year, 3 ACE classes next year, and 1 more junior year, that means just don't ACE classes.
Well, if you did that, you might be interested in more ACE classes because that might be your level. So you would take them because you were genuinely interested. You're going to college, and that's what you want to do. The whole reason to get an ACE diploma is because you want to go to college. So you would probably choose to take other ACE classes, but you wouldn't have to. Now, most freshmen are in one ACE class, ACE general paper. That's it. So freshman year, you got 1. Sophomore year, the most advanced students have 4. That adds up to 5. There's 2 or 3 junior year. And that's the most advanced track. So you take a little bit, but freshman year is usually 1. Your junior year will be your most difficult for ACE. If you're getting ACE. Let's get into today's lesson. We're going to do bell work, check Friday's assignment, take some notes, and do a new assignment. It's still on the board back there. Yes, if you were not here Friday, this is Friday's lesson. The zero product property means you take this bit and you make it equal 0, and then you take this, I should just do 1 arrow, and then you take this whole thing and you set it equal to 0. You solve both of them like they're both equal to 0, and then you're done. A lot of these equations have 2 answers. So by solve, I mean use opposite operation. So here I would divide by 5 because that's 5 times x. The opposite of times is divide. And I get one answer is 0. On this one, I would cancel the 8 by adding it to both sides. And the other answer is 8. So I have two answers, 0 and 8. I don't think so, not today. I need to move through this kind of quickly, actually. Because I talked a lot about those recommendations. Okay, so now we'll move on to number 2. We do x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 9 equals 0. Just take each little bit. Yeah, so you think I'm doing right here. So I would subtract 3 from both sides, and one of my answers is -3, and x equals 9. So I just got it down. So what? Once you're done, open your books to page 6 of 3, so I can see that one. Most of you guys finished it in class, I remember. They actually, the scores are a little bit higher than typical. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. It's because it was the first year they did that fast test. They kind of like bumped it up extra.
Do you grade like it's like participation grades?
Yeah, it's not right. All right, so number 3 has fraction. Alright, here's your answers from what we did Friday. Like I said, a lot of people got started even finished it on Friday. So this is page 603, number 1 through 19. So you guys already, you could have just looked at the answers if you wanted to, but I'll be looking for work. Exactly. Let me get my book. I don't need, they don't even need. What was that? Oh my gosh. That's gonna be a game break. They're like the readings. I have so many. I always get like a C in that He does, but I didn't do the. Yeah, I didn't do and I didn't do the assessment. I be like, I be looking at them like, what the time you know this? I'm seeing so many other people. The teacher last year thought I was gonna fail. Oh, you passed. So I was dumb. No, I tried to use my brain. Yeah, the math was so easy. So I was like, but now this way out worse. Let's take a look at the bottom three, the challenge questions for early finishers. I just want to do like maybe one with you. All right, this one for instance, number 21. This was for the early finishers. It was 5z squared plus 45z. You guys have done factoring before, and this is factoring. So I would rewrite this as 5 times z times z, that's the same as 5z squared. And then I would rewrite this as 5 times 9 times z. Because 45 is the same as 5 times 9. So what I'm talking about here is a greatest common factor. Okay, so what do I have? What do they have in common? They both have a 5 in there. So I call this GCF5. I'm going to take that out. And then they both also have a Z. So I'll take a Z out. And then what's left inside is just Z plus 9. Z plus 9. Because that got crossed out too. You guys remember doing the greatest common factors? Well, you want to do a number that has this in it. So you want to pick something they have in common. For number 22? Yeah, 3 times 2 and 3 times 7. Good job. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and pass out your note handout today. Did everybody get a handout?
So the questions on the top are zero product property.
Actually, we're going to do the box method and distribute it. Yeah, yes, on this side, it says recall, finding the product, so that means we've already covered it. So, just in, I think, let's not do letter C, okay? Let's just, actually, let's not do letter A either. Let's just do letter B. Alright, go ahead and find the answer if you do the box method on letter B. That is finding the product of two binomials. This is your new note. Got it. Done.
This is a bathroom.
Tristan's out. Okay. So guys, I'm gonna take this and we're gonna look at the graph. And I'm gonna try to help you connect the graphs to these things and the work of these things. So it started as x minus 8 and x plus 2. And that is the same as x squared minus 6x minus 16. These are the exact same things. They're just written differently. I'm going to go to Desmos and we're going to look at the graph. So I'm going to graph them both. I'll do x minus 8, x plus 2. And then in the second one, so that's it. That's what the graph looks like in these two parentheses. In the second one, I will do it the different color. I'll do the standard form. X squared minus 6x minus 16. And they're the exact same picture. They're the exact same graph. You gotta go to room 8112. 8112. I don't know. Yeah, 8112. No, take our stuff. No, building 8, room 112. Alright guys, so now here's your picture. Go ahead and answer the questions. Number 1, is this graph linear or non-linear? Linear. Alright, what does it mean to be linear?
It's not like a straight line.
Linear is a perfectly straight line. Winter, please stop your conversation. Is it linear or non-linear? This is non-linear because there is a curve. Alright, so number 1, the graph is non-linear. This is on your handout. Number 2, what is the y-intercept? Let me look. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8. Winter, what's the y-intercept? No one's at the top of this. Be quiet and pay attention. Do you need to move here? Alright, your y-intercept is right here. It's at negative 16. And number 3, what are the x-intercepts? X equals 8. That's actually good too. Right there. And x equals negative 2. Okay, so x-intercept, and then down here is the y-intercept. Okay, number 4, are the binomials that you multiplied and the graph related in any way? What similarities can you see? Yes, okay. So number 4, what are the similarities? Do you see negative 16 in any of these numbers? Right here. All right, so now we know when it's FOILed, the y-intercept is at the very end. Kind of like y equals mx plus b. Okay. Now, do you see the x-intercepts anywhere? Yes and no. Yes and no. this is the problem. How are these like these x-intercepts? They're opposite. How do you think we got to those opposite values? How do you go from here to a positive 8 and from here to a negative 2? How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? You would have to add the 8. Now, weren't we just doing this with the zero product property? Okay. If we take this problem and we set it equal to 0, and then we take this parenthesis and we set it equal to 0, and we solve them, we would get 8 and negative 2, right? These are the x-intercepts. Okay? So this is all very much related to this nonlinear graph. And as you start to learn to graph nonlinears, you have to know how are the equations related to the graph. So when you make these equal 0, you end up with x-intercepts. And that's because the y value is 0 there. The product when we did the box. Did you do letter B, the box method? The negative 16 was the last number. That's the y-intercept. So negative 2, 0, and 8, 0. Notice that they have zeros with them, and you set these equal to 0 to solve them. Okay, that's all related. So the real lesson of today, guys, is if you're given this problem, can you work backwards and figure out these parentheses? Okay, and the reason we work from this to the parentheses is so that we can solve the parentheses and know what the x-intercepts are. Okay, so we're looking at a process now of starting this, moving towards parentheses, finding the zeros and the x-intercepts so that we can get the graph going. Yeah, number 4 is the similarities are the x-intercepts. Yeah, let me go back to the handout. This is getting kind of wild. Number 5, why are these called zeros? It was negative 2, 0, 8, 0, and my answer is because the y value is 0. Don't belong. Alright, this is all you really need to have written on your paper. I know I've been kind of doing a lot up here, but those are good answers there. Why is the y value 0? Oh, good. Very good. That's called an intercept, and there's only one y-intercept. But when we look at a graph, we're talking about these x-intercepts. At the x-intercept, the y is 0. Actually, at the y-intercept, the x is 0. Great question. Okay. So when are x-intercepts and zeros helpful? So now you guys are going to go to desmos.com right now, and you're going to try to put this in. You want the graphing calculator. And you don't need to put the h equals in, but you need to put the negative 16x squared plus 16x. Ready? Go to desmos.com. You can't get into the Chromebook at all? No, you don't have to sign in. It's a free website. Just go to desmos.com, graphing calculator. Yeah, just go to the graphing calculator. Just Desmos.com. Graphing calculator. Don't put the H equals in. Take some time and try to figure out how to type this in. Yep. Don't put the H equals in. Okay? So negative 16x squared plus 16x for the football. You try to figure it out.
Right there.
So it's negative 16x squared plus 16x. Here's what it looks like. The question is, this is a football. I don't know who kicks a football straight up and down, but here we are. I think it usually goes further than this. It says H is the height reached after X seconds. So you guys, this is the height, and this is the time. Okay? Yep. X is time, Y is height. How high did this little football go? Only 4 feet. That's nothing. Maybe it's meters. And then when H is 0. So where is H 0, you guys? At height 0, H is 0. So here it happens twice. The football is 0 feet in the air twice. Okay? 0 height. Because you kick the ball off the ground, it goes straight up in the air, it falls back on the ground. Height 0 happens twice, pretty much for anything that's launched in the air because of gravity, right? So, what are the values of x when h is 0? We got 0, because this is 0, comma 0 here. And then this is 1, comma 0. So at time 0, the football's on the ground. You kick it, it goes 4 feet in the air, lands. It took 1 second for that football to go up in the air and land. It only went 4 feet, so. So I'm going to go ahead and say the football is up for 1 second. Okay? I know. It's like a little baby kicking this or something. Anyway, you're supposed to know as we're moving forward into this section, we're solving for anything that has a parabola relationship, like anything going in the air and coming back down, which is everything, right? Airplanes, drones. The next one's about a bridge. Go ahead and try to type the bridge in and try to answer the question about the bridge looking at the picture. We're on this one now. Can you even type that into Desmos first off? The EOC calculator you give is just like Desmos. So see if you can even type it in. Yeah, you gotta keep going. Did you put X in there? No, I didn't put X in there.
What was the answer for the first one?
Literally 0 in 1 second. The height was 0 and 0 in 1 second. Literally infinite. Are you zooming in right now? No, I'm zooming in. You might want to just put that. Or plus. Oh, I did it. Okay, this is it. Now this parabola is modeling a bridge. We have a lot of bridges that model parabolas. Or all of our suspension bridges are parabolas. So x and y are measuring feet on the x-axis. And this is when the water is at high tide. Can a boat that is 10 foot wide fit through this bridge? No. Why not? Not at high tide. Maybe if the tide goes down. Actually, right now I'm kind of forcing you to introduce it into the importance of these equations because most people are like, "Why are you doing this? What do you have to do?" So I'm showing you all the different applications, its architectures, anything that goes up in the air and has a force of gravity on any planet. And you will be asked, given this, you'll be asked about x-intercepts, y-intercepts, and what their meanings are. And these are questions right out of your book. So, can a boat that is 10 foot wide fit through the bridge? No, because how wide is the bridge? It's only 9 feet wide. Okay? The boat can't fit. No, the width is 9 feet. Okay, so x-intercepts are very valuable to us when it comes to parabolas. They tell us a lot of things about height 0 when something's in the air, and about anything that has a parabola shape to it. They find parabolas all over nature. The way a dolphin jumps into the air models a parabola, like the graph we were just looking at. Yes. So now we're going to practice rewriting quadratics into factored form. I feel like somebody's already gone. Okay, flip your paper over. So what we want to do, and actually you guys, this right here should say x-intercept. Now Winter says, are we going to have decimals when we go to graph this? Well, not always. So we're going to go through the process of figuring out x-intercepts when you don't have decimals and when you're not graphing. Okay. So step 1 is to identify A, B, and C. Your first value here is A, your second one is B, and your third one is C. See that? So in this problem, there's an invisible 1. A is 1, B is 10, C is 21. Megan, you see where I got those numbers? It's nice because ABC is the alphabet, and the numbers go in order. A, B, C. The 1 was invisible. The 10 I can see in the middle, and the 21 I can see at the end. So step 1 in doing this is can you say what A, B, and C are? Step 2, we need numbers that will multiply to 21 and add to 10. So what numbers multiply to 21? 1 times 21, anything else?
3 and 7.
3 times 7. Now when I add these up, 1 plus 21 is 22. It doesn't work. I need to add to 10. 3 plus 7 equals 10. So those are the numbers I'm looking for. I'm looking for 3 and 7 because it has to multiply to C and add up to BB. So step 3, we're going to write the correct factors in parentheses. So I do parenthesis x, parenthesis x. I put the 3 in the first one, and I put the 7 in the second one. Boom. Boom. Allison, you want your phone? Put that phone on. Right here is fine. All right, and then if we were to make these equal 0, on solve. I can't believe I put step 4 solve. Solve, we would do x plus 3 is 0, x plus 7 is 0, and we have our x-intercepts. It's -3 and -7. So now without using Desmos, without looking at the graph, I know exactly where those x-intercepts are. They're at -3 and 7. They're 4 units apart. I know what their distance is. This I can now visualize what the graph looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's -5. Here's -10. I can picture a parabola right now. Where is it? -3, -7, something like that. We're going to learn that with time. We're going to learn how to find that one. Why learn it? Oh, you mean the y value? Oh, no, there's lots of steps into making that graph. This is just the beginning. All right, let's try the next one, number 2. No, don't make a graph. Step 1, identify A, B, and C. A is 1, B is 17, and C is 30. Read the steps. Alright, so you want to find numbers that will multiply to 30 and they have to add to 17. It's like a little riddle. You have to have, it's like a riddle. Okay, so I would do 1 times 30 and then I try adding it. That's 31. Doesn't work. I'm not going to use those numbers. Is 5 times 6 30? Oh, 5 times 6 is 30 though. But 5 plus 6 is 11. That doesn't work. We want them to add to 17. As you're going through this list, how well you know your multiplication tables is essential. Okay? If you struggle with multiplication tables, this is going to be a struggle. That's okay. Don't give up on it. It's going to be a little bit of hard work, but you can still do it. Okay? You'll hear people who know their multiplication tables really well, that's easy for them. They're going to come up with the answers very quickly. Don't let that frustrate you. Make your list. Come up with your numbers in your own time. 2 times 15 is 30. And 2 plus 15 is 17. Those are the numbers that work. So in our parentheses, we do x plus 2, x plus 15. And now we can picture the graph. Yeah, I mean, I didn't put a step 4. You don't always have to do it, but I would like to make these equal 0 and solve them. So I assigned you 2 through 12 even, which means that's like 6 problems. You guys try to get 4. Try to figure out 4 out of 6, okay? Adding those. So you're doing these exact steps. Step 1, 2, and 3. A, B, and C. You need numbers that multiply to the last one and add to the middle. Page 613.